is up, youths and viewers? My name is Kiss, and welcome back to KTV Network. Today I'm reacting to Mortal Kombat 2 trailer made fans angry. I have some comments to say about this, especially with Tati Gabrielle, but I'm gonna wait until we get there, and then, we'll see what happens. This is by True Underdog Gaming. I'm having a Mortal Kombat moment.
Mortal Kombat fans are not happy. In fact, I would argue they're angry right now. A recent trailer dropped for the Mortal Kombat 2 movie, and while some fans did enjoy it, almost everybody else is talking about this. And I'm not joking. I would argue that 80% of fans are talking about Jade's bald head. The severe lack of hair on this character, who's always had hair in every single game she's appeared in, and also other movies and comic books, she's always had hair. So many fans
that's her
are
signature
obviously
look.
asking, what's the deal with this design change? Why the new look for a character that's been established for decades now? However, to be fair, some fans are also mad about Johnny Cage and also Baraka.
Johnny Cage because he's too old apparently, but I think they're trying to bring him on from when he's washed up, right? It makes sense. And this will be a resurgence in his career. And Baraka, I've seen the FX makeup.
All three of these characters on screen are getting heat right now. And real quick,
but to be fair, it's still, this isn't finished completely, right? Is it still in beta, Like, they're still working on it, right? So they didn't polish the product yet. That's what I'm assuming, maybe.
Before going any further, I want to make it clear that no disrespect is meant towards the actors or anybody else involved with the film except the character designer. That's honestly the one person who does deserve the heat right now, because some of these characters look goofy. Jade's bald head has completely hijacked the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. Nobody is talking about anything else, and I wish I was exaggerating, but no, I'm being very literal here. I would say less than 10% of the people who watched that trailer are talking about anything besides Jade's bald head.
And I just to get this out of the way, because I said I was going to bring it towards around the time they talk about Jade. We're talking about Jade right now. My whole thing about Jade is that, well, first off, I love me some Tati Gabrielle. I thought that she acted really well in You, and that she was really beautiful. Like, she's really beautiful, like, objectively, right? But the thing is, Tati, this is for you if you ever stumble across this video. Shut up, okay? Like, and now I don't say this offensively. I say it, in hopes that you will listen to the people. Just don't zip it, okay? Look at Laura Bailey in The Last of Us 2. You see what an abomination that was and you're being hired from the same company, all right? You saw how an abomination that was, and how Laura didn't say anything. She got her paycheck and dipped. Okay, you shouldn't say anything either. Even though that masculinity thing was kind of clever and kind of funny, but at the same time, you don't attack your fan base. So I will blame the director, for bringing Jade's bald head into this, because she looks good anyhow, at least to me. But yeah, just don't say a thing. Don't take it as a personal attack. People are going to talk shit about anything all the time, everywhere, anywhere you go, about anything. So just, there are quidnunks everywhere. So just leave it alone. Get your paycheck and just shut up. That's what I would do, at least. That's me. But yeah, hopefully they can fix it. If not, this movie is going to tank.
And real quick, one more time, no disrespect.
Oh, and you don't need that boot camp for what? Just shut up. No. You don't need Neil Druckmann's boot camp for shit. Grow some backbone like everybody else, and move on. That's it. Just keep it quiet.
Towards the actress. In fact, let's talk about Baraka and the Johnny Cage first. With Baraka, I think the main issue is he looks a bit goofy. Some people online say it looks like a fan film, and I have to agree. Baraka, at least in this trailer...
How many Mortal Kombat movies do they have?
looks straight out of a fan film. Having the teeth wrap all the way around his head like a Pez dispenser is a weird choice, I'm not gonna lie. And I feel like Mortal Kombat 11 Baraka would have been the way to go, or possibly even MK1 Baraka, because he looks more human. And the movie actor is also human, so picking that design would have been much easier to achieve. But instead, we got a brand new look for Baraka, and his bone claws are not metal, which they're supposed to be, if you're going off most of the games. Yes, in the recent games he's had bone claws instead, but originally they were metal. Baraka had metal claws coming out of his wrist because he's a Wolverine parody. He's also a mutant in the original games. Fun fact. So yeah,
that makes
the
a lot of
X-Men
sense.
inspiration is very clear
That
and
makes a lot of
obvious there.
sense.
However, the good news is Baraka's not getting too much criticism because Jade and Johnny Cage have stolen the spotlight from him. Or rather,
Yes, they
they're
have.
taking all the heat off of him because nothing about this criticism has been positive so far online. So next up, let's talk about Johnny Cage. The main issue many people have is that Carl Urban is old. Alright, no disrespect, I love this actor. He does fantastic work on The Boys and other films and shows he's been involved in. I like Carl Urban.
Well, like I
However,
said,
the issue is that Johnny Cage is supposed to be 20, or at worst in his early 30s. Unless we're talking Mortal Kombat 11 when he's got a 20-plus-year-old daughter. Yes, if Mortal Kombat 2 has a fully grown Cassie Cage in it, then all is forgiven, right? However, as we see in this trailer, Johnny Cage just met Sonya Blade for the very first time,
Yeah.
so they don't have a kid yet. You get the joke,
Yeah,
right? Carl Urban is
yeah.
old, and Johnny Cage is meant to be old in this movie as well. That's established in the trailer. He's past his prime. In fact, Johnny Cage is so old that his fans are asking for a reboot of his original movies. That's how old the actor is supposed
That's
to be.
exactly what I
With that
said.
in mind, Carl Urban's casting makes more sense. However, I would not be shocked if Carl Urban was cast first and then the writing was changed to reflect his casting. Or in other words, Johnny Cage was made old because they wanted Carl Urban in this movie because Carl Urban puts butts in seats. People will see this movie.
Is that Tanya? She
because
looks
it
like
has
Jade.
Carl Urban. Or at least I think that's how everything's going right now. I think he was cast because he's famous and they said, okay, let's change the script to fit his older age. Which honestly does not bother me.
Now, why couldn't we get outfits like this in Mortal Kombat 1? That people would have been all over that.
Too much. I like the idea
I'm beating
of
a dead
grizzled,
horse.
older Johnny Cage. That's completely fine with me. As long as he's still cracking jokes and doing really cool fight choreography, I don't mind. I'm okay with Johnny Cage cracking jokes, but he's also got to be cracking skulls and kicking butt. Not a jobber in the movies, alright? He better kick butt. Which means now finally it's time to address the bald elephant in the room, Jade, because that's what everybody
Not the
online is
bald
talking
elephant.
about. And I want to discuss her in full too, because there's a lot to get through. But first, real quick, I wanted to shout out my comic book. There's only about 8 days left to order, so you want to act soon. Click that.
That's interesting. That I'm noticing a lot of people come out with their own comic books. This guy, Yellow Flash, like a lot of people are coming out with their own comic books, which is very cool. Very cool indeed.
Link down below to learn all about my new comic book, Ace of Spades. It's only $10 and you're gonna love it. Don't worry about the goal. We don't need to reach that. If you order a comic, you get a comic book. I just wanted to dream big. This Indiegogo campaign has variant covers that will never be available again. Like this swimsuit cover. It looks really amazing, right? Ace is looking pretty hot. And then cover B has her superhero persona. Yeah, I love this design. Our artist did a fantastic job. This comic book really is amazing. And if you want all 3 covers, you can order the triple pack, which gives you a bonus poster for free. An exclusive poster, by the way, that will never be available anywhere else. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. This Indiegogo in general is so awesome. Order yourself a comic book today. You're gonna love it. And don't forget, there's only 8 days left, so you want to order now and tell all of your friends about it who might also want a really cool comic book. Alright, time to address the bald elephant in the room. Jade, a longtime fan favorite character from the Mortal Kombat series who's been around for decades now, looks very different in the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. She has a shaved head, completely shaved too. Not even a half shave with some hair hanging off on this side, no, completely shaved. And I have my reasonings for why the character...
Which still would have been, it would have received backlash because, you know, people with half shaved hair, it's usually has to do with the message. So...
designer might have done this, or the writer, because Todd Garner on Twitter did say that Jade's
I don't blame the
head
actress.
will be explained in the movie, so there is a plot reason for why she's bald, which is better than nothing, I suppose.
Okay, see, that works. That works.
Suppose if Jade was bald and it just never got explained, that would be worse. However, it's still a weird choice. One of the best things about video game movies is seeing your favorite character from the video game adapted to the big screen. For example, if I saw Kratos in a God of War movie, he better be bald because that's how he's portrayed in the game. I don't
Yeah,
want
that's
to
true.
have
That's
any
weird.
hair. If he shows up looking like John Wick, I'm gonna be upset because that's not how Kratos is supposed to look. And
Yeah.
even if every other aspect of the character is done well, you're still gonna be
And I always thought about why he's so bald. That's the character choice. Yeah. Yeah.
bothered by the weird appearance the entire time. Something very similar happened with the Tekken film, which I bring up because it's a fighting game too. Steve Fox looked nothing like the video game version in that movie, which is strange because almost everybody else looked good. When I saw Jin on screen, I thought, yeah, that's Jin. When I saw Eddie, I thought, yeah, that's Eddie. When I saw Yoshimitsu, I thought, yeah, that's Yoshimitsu. But then in comes Steve, who looks, yeah, nothing like Steve. So this has happened before, and ironically enough,
I would say if they gave him extensions, he would have passed. I mean, if that's how he looked, then they aged Steve. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't look bad, does he? You know, a little clean shave. It would have worked. It would have worked. Steve is Nina's son, right? Yeah.
to another fighting game movie. To be clear, I don't think anybody has issues with a character being bald. The issue is that Jade has never been bald in any of her appearances in the previous games or the shows or even the
Right.
comic books. So when you make her bald and
Or she's probably in another, she's probably working on another project and she has to be bald for that project, which is nuts. Wait, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. No, but they already finished Last of Us 2. So she must be working on another project because apparently there are 3 projects where she's bald. Intergalactic, The Last of Us, and this one. So I'm starting to think there's a pattern here. There's definitely a pattern here.
in a big budget movie that's gonna be worldwide for everyone to see, yeah, fans are gonna be scratching their heads and also a bit upset because here's how the character looks and here's what you chose to do, knowing that pretty much nobody wanted that. Because if fans were asking for Jade to be bald and then you made her bald, that would be one thing, that would be great. Like for example, maybe a fan design was really popular online, everybody was spreading it around and you thought, oh, let's adapt that for the film. But that's
Right.
not what happened. Jade is bald despite nobody ever asking for this character to be bald. In fact, Jade's never even had short hair in the games. Her hair's always been really long, either a braided ponytail, sometimes
That's true.
double space buns. Mortal Kombat characters never keep their hairstyles consistent, especially not the women. So Jade's had tons of hairstyles, but she's always had a long, flowing, smooth hair. So making her bald is gonna give a lot of people whiplash. And even
I like how they focused on the physics. Like you're not paying attention to the face at all.
even worse, it's stolen the attention from the film itself. Like mentioned earlier, nobody's even talking about the trailer anymore. They're just talking about Jade's bald head. It's completely stolen the spotlight. And listen, it's too late for them to fix this. They can't reshoot all of Jade's scenes with a wig, and they can't give her CGI hair. That's not gonna happen. And even if it was possible, that's not my goal with today's video. I'm just covering every
Even if it was possible, it'd have to be pre Marvel Avengers Endgame, like CGI. You know, like, because the CGI now, like the people that they hire for CGI, there has to be someone that's top tier for that.
body's outrage and reactions online, and also give my own perspective on the situation, both how I feel about
Like the guy who did Sonic, who did that? Get them.
Jade's new look myself, which is not good, I don't like it, but also I wanted to explain why people are upset. It's not about a female character being bald, nobody really minds that. If this character on screen was brand new to Mortal Kombat 2, I doubt anybody would care. It's
Nobody-
an original
yeah.
character, she
Nobody
can
would
be
care.
bald. But like mentioned earlier, you can't have a God of War movie and give Kratos long, beautiful, flowing hair. It's just not gonna work. Fans aren't gonna like that.
That's true. You can't hijack an IP and put your own twist into it. You got to stay true to the character, the story, all that. Yeah. I
And
get
on the
it.
flip side, you can't take a nearly 30-year-old character who's had long flowing hair in every game and then say, yeah, she's bald for the movie. Even if you justify it with writing and the film explains why she's bald, that's not going to satisfy most fans.
No,
just
it's not.
Oh yeah, earlier I mentioned that I have theories for why Jade's head might be bald. My first assumption is that she shaved her head because she's part of a warrior group and all of them shaved their heads. In fact, I will not be shocked if if Jade's one of the only women in that warrior group and she still shaved her head because that's the rule. That's theory number one. Theory number two is the opposite, that Shao Kahn's soldiers all have long, beautiful ponytails, and when Jade betrays him and decides to leave, she removes the ponytail and all of her hair to show that she's a new woman and she no longer works under this tyrant. She's cutting off that symbol of his army. That's theory number two.
Okay.
Theory number three is a culture
Those are
thing,
good
like
too.
how Shaolin monks and warriors tend to shave their heads, so if Liu Kang had a bald head, that would make sense culturally. However, all the fans would be upset, so just don't do that. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day, right? Choosing to make Jade
Three good
bald
theories.
was a severe lack in judgment. I think the writer and character designer grossly underestimated how much fans like this character and her iconic look. As mentioned earlier, one of the coolest things about a video game movie is seeing your favorite characters from the game portrayed on the big screen. In other words, a majority of people watching this movie, or at least a very big chunk of them, are going to be Mortal Kombat fans. So with that in mind, you should make sure that all of their favorite characters are immediately recognizable, and Jade honestly is not. Even with the green suit, I would not know for sure that was Jade because she looks so drastically different, which is why in the trailer she has the glowing staff shown first. I do think that was done intentionally. The filmmakers realized we would not know right away this was Jade unless we saw her.
Yeah, so they could cement the character right away and there's no confusion moving forward.
Her iconic glowing staff. And yeah, that's about it. I could keep on ranting honestly, but that's the main points I wanted to hit. Everyone's talking about Jade being bald because she's never been bald, and they're wondering, why would you do this? And the writer claims the film will explain why the character is bald, but even so, if I was in charge, this never would have happened. I would have made every character look as close to the video game versions as possible. Because it's a video game movie, that's your prime audience, right? You want to appeal to them. The reality, sometimes even simple changes to an iconic character can get people upset. So for example, imagine if Tobey Maguire was blonde in the first Spider-Man movie. People would have been upset. And that's way more subtle than making a character bald, right? So that's why people are upset. I just wanted to clarify that. Thanks for watching,
100%.
everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. My previous video got demonetized because I was reacting to the new Mortal Kombat 2 trailer, and I made 5 different versions altering the footage to try and avoid that copyright claim, and yet I still got demonetized. So please do me a favor and leave a like down below to take some of that sting away.
Yeah, liking, doing reaction content is kind of risky sometimes, especially like when it comes to trailers like that. Like I don't react to Last of Us 2 anymore. Like forget them. Since they flagged me, I was like, yeah, screw you. So whenever I get that copyright warning, I'm just like, nah, I'm not doing this. But that's what happens with certain adaptations, especially game adaptations. They don't really they don't stay true to the story. Kind of like, even though I enjoyed Mila Jovovich so much, that adaptation was atrocious. It just became a story about her, which is fine, but you just used the other main characters as cannon fodder. Like, what's the whole point of that? And you weren't even consistent with it. Like, my whole thing between, 5 and 6? When you brought them all for that final scene at the White House, and then you immediately skip that, we want to know what happened. But apparently you didn't have enough money to do that sequence. Okay. But alright. Sure. That was one point. But yeah, let me know what you think about this video down in the comments below. Let me know what other gaming videos you want me to react to. Like, subscribe, provide, become a beauty today. And I will see you guys on live streams eventually. I plan on doing one this week. Yeah. Alright, well, I'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by.